Okay, technical difficulties. I ran into some technical difficulties. This is Merwin coming to you live from Post Falls, Idaho. Now I'm fairly certain I'm on. I'm going to check it another time here and see what it says. Now it should be telling me that I am indeed live. There we go. Okay, technical difficulties. And I just muted that, so that had improved things quite a bit. There we go. Now, mute. Okay, technical difficulties. Mute. There we go. Okay, so now I can see the comments, if any come in. Still technical difficulties. All right. Let's check it out, see what it looks like. All right. I am live. Okay. This broadcast is about conspiracy theories, oddly enough. Here we go. I am live. All right. This is about conspiracy theories. There are conspiracy theories that are low-hanging fruit, which means they're easy to get to, and there's the fruit that's higher up the tree, which means you really got to reach to get them. Okay. What we got going on all around us now was warned about. It was warned about back in the 70s and 80s. 70s with late great Planet Earth launched a lot of good stuff along those lines from Hal Lindsey. If you ever never read that book, yeah, probably ought to get it. Although most of the information that is there is dated. It's not only dated, but it's obsolete. And by obsolete, I mean another phrase would be dated. Anyway, back in the 70s, there was speculations by people such as Hal Lindsey with Lake Great Planet Earth that was very close to being prophetic in its presentation. A lot of the ensuing conspiracy theories that book and other books like that generated launched the term conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. Those terms were directed in a derogatory way towards people who came up with conspiracy theories. A lot of things came from that, such as the warnings about NAMBLA. NAMBLA was the pedophilia that was warned about. That has since come to pass, and everybody poo-pooed it. They said it would no, it's conspiracy nonsense. Yada yada yada, conspiracy this, conspiracy that. It became a derogatory phrase that people dismissed you by. If they called you a conspiracy theorist, a conspiracy nutcase, yeah, on and on and on. Most of the higher profile but lower hanging fruit that was available in those days have come to pass and then some. The lower hanging fruit came to pass in the last 30 years, the slightly higher hanging fruit in the last 20 years. The slightly higher up fruit has come to pass in the last 10 years, and the higher up fruit, almost out of reach to most people back in the 70s and 80s, is now on our doorstep. We can look all around and see it. But it was out of reach back then. Back in the 30s, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 70s, 80s, all of these things were warned about. John Birch Society warned us about all kinds of stuff, losing the constitutional protections, losing our liberties, warnings about Islam, warnings about and the more radical aspects of Islam. Rank and file Muslims are not really the problem, although they don't call out their own people. They're afraid to. One world government, one world religion, all of these things that were warned about, especially in the 80s and the 90s, were still being dismissed, ad hoc dismissed with the terms conspiracy theorists, conspiracy nuts, on and on and on. We have now we're facing critical race theory, critical race. What is it? Critical race teaching is part of the Great Reset. The Great Reset is also using as a tool ESG rating, which is coming up. That's environmental, social responsibility, and governance rating. That will supplant your credit rating. Credit ratings are old hat. They're not going to be important, and it's going to change the value of what you're able to float a loan over. No longer is it going to be your financial solvency and your financial credibility. It's going to be, are you environmentally conscious? Are you socially responsible as far as following all the diversity structuring, which also critical race theory is all about? And are you in line with all of these things, and that politically, and that's governance. So environmental, social responsibility, and governance rating. And that's going to be what dictates whether or not you're able to buy or sell. That will dictate whether or not you're able to float a loan. If you're their ratings is pretty simple on that. From what I hear, it's going to be rated. You will be rated from 1 to 10. A 4 is no good, and a 7 is leaning towards the better. So 1 to 10, how are you doing on your ESG rating? That will determine whether you can buy or sell, or whether or not you're a productive member of their society. If your rating is really low, you're going to be sent to re-education camps, similar to the Cultural Revolution that was dictated by Chairman Mao in China. So this is what is just around the corner for us, in the sense that the Great Reset is going to be global, and it's going to, I better have a pull on my coffee. J. Buchanan mug. Love the mugs. So anyway, the Great Reset is going to be global, and it's going to be based on ESG rating, which is also going to be global. Is global. It's already being implemented in other countries. And the critical race theory, which is being taught in our public schools, and they are teaching it in many public schools. The blue states are doing it, and Oklahoma recently passed a law saying that they will not teach or allow critical race theory in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Teachers Union has come out against that and condemned that perspective. So, there's just so many theories that are on us now and being proven to be accurate. And that's that lower hanging fruit I was talking about, which, again, 50 years ago, it was being explained not in the great detail that we're actually seeing it come to pass now. So these things, the critical race theory, the ESG rating, and the Great Reset, that is happening now. And it's not a theory anymore. We didn't know what kind of labels it was going to have back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s. Now that it's 2021, soon to be 2000, oops. It's no longer a theory. These things are no longer theory. It's global. One world government is just at the threshold. One world religion is also at the threshold under Islam, I'll wager. And why Islam? Why would they choose Islam over all the other religions? Well, and here's where the current conspiracy theories are suggesting. Islam would be chosen as the one world government because it is the radical end of it has a tendency and a willingness to be murderous. Executions for them is really, really a day at their races, man. It's just, they do this in other countries like Iran, used to be Saudi Arabia, although I think they're toning it down. They're becoming a little more humane or a little more guarded in how they let their information out. Radical Islam is willing to execute people that do not line up with so that one world, why would they be so willing to go with a one world religion that is willing to execute? Because they're wanting to drop the world population down to 500 million and keep it there. And they're wanting to do that very, very quickly. So, and once it really starts, they're wanting to do it within a 10-year period. So, if you want examples of this being told and hidden in plain sight, you have but to look at the Humanist Manifestos of 1973 and even before that, 1933. They was alluding to population control in the 1933 Humanist Manifesto, In the 1973 Humanist Manifesto, it was more pronounced and actually talked about as reducing the world's population as opposed to just having zero population growth. With the Georgia Guidestones, put a Google on Humanist Manifesto 1, Humanist Manifesto 2, and the Georgia Guidestones. Georgia Guidestones have 6 different languages etched on petroglyphs, and the very top in English, you can see the very top or first commandment on each of these guidestones. In English, you can see the very first commandment is reduce the world's population to 500 million and keep it there. Now, with population right around 8 billion or creeping up there real fast, that is a over 90% reduction in the world's population. They want to do it within 10 years. Once it really gets started, they want to do it within 10 years. So, Humanist Manifesto 1, 1933, Humanist Manifesto 2, 1973, and Georgia Guidestones. And they're working on a Humanist Manifesto currently that is still being composed. Now, the signatures on both those manifestos are voluminous and world leaders and teachers, educators across the globe or signatures that could be found on the Humanist Manifesto 1, Humanist Manifesto 2. Most of these guys are dead now. But the very fact that you have a Humanist Manifesto 1 40 years before Humanist Manifesto 2 in 1973, and Georgia Guidestones, I think, was erected in Georgia, the state of Georgia, United States, not the country Georgia in Europe or Eurasia. But the United States Georgia Guidestones were erected, I think, in middle 70s, but I don't know. Anyway, these things talk about human population reduction, not just human zero population management, but reduction in the overall population. And once it's down to 500 million, that's where they intend on going with the management and zero population growth from that point. Who will be in charge of all that? Well, the elite. And it'll be enforced by the military and the one world religion that will be managing and controlling the people. People get out of line, they'll be dealt with. So we got conspiracy theories coming at us from all different angles. Globalism, New World Order, climate change, let's see, pandemic is part of all that. I already mentioned the Humanist Manifestos and the Georgia Guidestones. These things are all around us. All of this confusion, all of this panic is planned and it's intended and it's designed and it's structured from a lot of different angles. It's coming at us from a lot of different angles, and that's by design. It's intended, and it's wanting to not create a mindset in us that we don't know what to do. And who do you know, especially conservatives, who don't know what to do? A lot of us don't know what to do. There are many things we can do. Activism, become active. I subscribe to Blaze TV with Glenn Beck. It's a yearly subscription of about $100. They run specials quite often where you can get them for a lesser amount. When I signed up for our Blaze TV, it was at $70 for the year. I would not wait for a discount to occur. They announce them all the time. There's a discount going on now. I think it's $10 off. Sign up for it. They've got a special going on tonight. Whereas Glenn Beck at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 Eastern, Blaze TV shows Glenn Beck giving a special program tonight. Very, very important. If you can sign up for Blaze TV tonight, do it and be able to watch that. Even after once you've signed up, if you missed the program, you're able to pick it up on their podcast or whatever. I'm at 21 minutes. On Wednesdays, I think what I'll be doing is conspiracy theories. Other days of the week, I'm going to choose other topics, but that's enough for today. Walk in the joy of the Lord. His joy is your strength. That's enough for today. Lord bless you. Have a great day.